And back here on Sports on the Fly, Ian, Kenny, and joined by Ben today, fellas. Well, we tried to start with a little Super Bowl action. We got in there a little bit.
We did,
but let's jump back into it. Enough of Kenny's personal life stories.
Sorry, private stories.
But
we're gonna take that button away from you.
Yeah. So anyway, I was being rattled for picking the
Not nearly enough, by the way.
the Seahawks, but anyway, I've had experiences of seeing the Patriots lose on a fourth quarter miraculous catch
Yeah.
almost 3 times now.
Yeah, Manningham, Tyree, and almost curse.
With that curse catch,
Yeah, what was your feeling? What'd your heart tell you at that point?
it's 3 straight times.
Oh.
3 straight times. 100 that set the Seahawks up. First and goal at the 5 with a minute and a half left. And I said to myself, "Oh my gosh, this game is over. The Seahawks won."
What would you have done if you're coaching the Pats? I would have let him in. But I coach like I'm playing a game of Madden. That's my coaching
You
style.
asked Madden.
You know, that's Madden-esque coaching.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill Belichick is not playing Madden. He's playing actual football. So
Yes.
what would you have done? I mean, I would have let him in, Ben's.
Yeah, you gotta get the guy to score so you opportunity
You
to
got to
get
get the ball back. And
Yeah.
you got Tom Brady. You know, you want him
Brady.
with the ball, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking of letting them score too.
Yeah. And he let them score 2 years ago.
Right.
3 years ago, right? Against the Giants, Manningham made the catch, and then they let him in.
They let Bradshaw in when he
Yeah.
sat down, when he tried to sit down with it. Yeah.
Right.
Right. So that's why, and it was funny because then they got on first down. Then they went to Lynch, picked up 4 yards, almost got in the end zone, but they stopped him.
Mm-hmm.
And then right there, the announcers were saying, now you have to start thinking,
Right.
maybe
Or call a timeout.
right.
That's an option.
You know, either one. They had, 2 left that they didn't use?
Yes.
So my thinking was that Bill is not going to use his timeouts defensively. He's going to let them in on the next play and then call his timeouts when they get the ball back and start driving down the field.
Yep.
And he's got 2 timeouts and 4 downs and Tom Brady. And to me, that's enough to win.
Yes.
But again, I'm coaching like I'm playing Madden, and you can get plays off very, very quickly with no confusion whatsoever. They always seem to know what to do.
And I was thinking, oh boy, here we go. Now we're gonna let them in, and then I just didn't like where that was going
Right.
from.
Well, it's never the first option is never let them score.
Yeah.
Because you are playing sports, and your main prerogative is to not let them score. So to let them score is totally against everything you've ever learned as a sportsman. or
And they
woman.
stopped them on the 1 yard line too.
Right.
Like, yeah, they were
You
that
know?
close. They were 1 yard away.
Yeah, they're gonna get in. Like that's they're gonna get in. Just let them.
Eventually.
Right. So I was just out of my mind, and then they show Brady and totally dejected and looking up at the scoreboard and watching the replay, and he's thinking the same thing I'm thinking, that there's no way that this is happening again.
Right.
Again. I mean, okay, fine. Tyree, once in a lifetime catch.
Yeah, exactly.
You chalk it up, fine. Once in a lifetime, it's gonna happen. So that's it.
Yep.
So then you have the Manningham 3
that
years
was a great
later, and it's not again.
Not again.
Not again.
I still stand by my sentiment that Manningham's catch was better.
I think so.
It was on the sideline.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's just incredible.
that-
How to keep your feet in.
that
Throw, too.
ball.
Yeah, like that's like.
If that ball is not in the exact place where it's
Mhm.
where Eli Manning put it,
Right.
no way he makes that catch.
Oh, exactly.
course.
But granted, in the Tyree one, Eli was able to escape like 19 people
Mm-hmm.
and step back up in the pocket. So I mean, both plays have their own.
Right.
Yeah, they were both pretty miraculous.
Yes.
you
Right.
know? Al Michaels would be proud of the miraculousness of that.
And then we have Curse making the catch, falling to the ground, losing control, keeping it from hitting the ground,
Oh.
coming away with the catch. I said to myself, there's no way.
Yeah, it's got to be a heartbreaker.
There is no way 3 times, fourth quarter, holding a lead, guy makes an amazing catch to set up good field position and then a touchdown. And I was.
And what's the score at this point?
The score is the final score, 28-24.
Right. So field goal's not going to do it. You've
No.
got to get in.
Exactly. So I'm thinking that there's no way. I mean, Seattle was marching down the field. The third quarter they scored 10 points, and then I'm saying to myself, it's a matter of time of when they get in, and
How much time are we going to have left?
right, and Brady at the end of the game, both of the other Super Bowls he had chances and didn't get it. Of course, Gronk 3 years ago was
yeah.
right there,
Yeah.
and he was coming off of an injury, so he wasn't 100%. If Gronkowski was healthy in Super Bowl 46,
You
Tom
think he
Brady
catches
would-
that ball?
either one, he catches that ball, or two,
He's
it
more of a
changes
factor.
the whole shape of the game, and the Patriots win. So I'd say Gronk's healthy in that game. Brady has 5.
All right. Well, time out a second. let me time out really quick, because about 20 minutes ago. Well, okay, Sax, you're making me angry. Okay, because 20 minutes ago you're like, oh, we gotta take all the emotion out of the game. That's why I picked the Seahawks to win,
Yeah.
because I'm emotionless and I have no
It's
feelings
a
and I'm a
football
robot
game.
and blah blah blah.
Well, no.
And now you're looking back 3 years and gonna go, Gronk. If he was healthy, we win the Super Bowl. Yeah. And Sax, if I'm 6'4", 227 pounds, I'm in the NBA, brother. But I'm not.
No.
Well, okay.
So the Pats lost, and I'm sad and not in the NBA. And those two things are just things we're gonna have to live with.
Right.
All right?
Yeah.
So we can if, ands, or buts, whatever you want, but they lost Super Bowl 46,
happened.
and you've got to get over it. I don't care if Gronk had 1 arm or 19 legs. They lost.
I've
say it.
They did.
Okay.
The Giants won both of those Super Bowls.
Now, Super Bowl 49.
Yeah.
Right. Last play of the game.
Not a bad call.
I agree. The problem,
Not a good call,
It's not
The-
a good
the-
call.
but not a bad call.
the problem that I have with the call is not the decision to pass instead of run.
It's where they pass the ball.
Yeah. Yep.
Why throw it off the middle of the field? Why put it
coverage.
anywhere that can be intercepted? I understand throwing the ball. I don't think it's a bad call. But again, I coach Madden.
Yeah.
And in Madden, throwing is always a good play.
Mhm.
You know? So, in my eyes, in my limited football eyes, and you can tear me apart if you want, but throwing on second down when you're in 4-down territory and you do have Marshawn Lynch in the backfield,
Yes.
and you're not comfortable with the personnel that's out there, the last thing that you want to do is lose yards.
Mhm.
You're on the 1. The last thing you want to do is get stuffed, lose 2, maybe 3 yards, and negate the previous play. You've only got 1 timeout left, too.
Yep.
So if you run on second down, you're out of timeouts if you don't get in, and you've only got 1 more play to get in. Because then again, if you run on third, you're going to have to throw the ball at one point in that possession, whether it be second or third down. because you've only got one timeout.
But isn't that 4-down territory? when
Yes,
you're there? Okay.
but you have to throw the football because you're out of timeouts, or you have to spike it.
Yeah.
So either you throw it or you spike it in that possession at some point.
And you don't want to spike
And
it
why would
inside
you
the
give up a
5.
down?
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
why would you give up a down? So you don't want to lose yards, and you need at one point in the drive to throw the football. Just time management wise, you have no other option.
Yep.
Because you need to stop the clock somehow. So if you throw the ball on the 1, either you get in, or the
Time
clock
stop,
stops,
yep.
or you pick it off. Granted, that is always an outside chance.
Yes.
If you throw it to the sideline, no, they don't pick it off because that's impossible.
Yes.
If you throw it over the middle of the field like a jerk, then yeah,
That's
it
Pick
might
City.
get picked off.
That's Pick City.
And with being at the 1 yard line, everyone is bunched up there.
Yeah.
So you have the D lineman.
You've got 20 guys
All
in
the
the middle
linebackers
of
in.
the field.
Right, which is why I don't get it. Why every time they're at the 1 yard line, they run it right up the gut, right up the middle of the field, push it to the outside.
And granted, Marshawn Lynch is a contact back. He likes to make
Yes.
first contact. He likes to, power through. Great. Wonderful. But these are also NFL starting goal line personnel.
You have at least
They're not
1,000
pushovers.
pounds
Yeah.
in the center
Yeah.
of the.
They're not going to just let him in, and he's very good, but they are also very good. They are in the National Football League starting on the goal line in Super Bowl
And this-
49 with a minute left in the game. They're not pushovers.
Yep.
They're not just going to let Marshawn Lynch run over them. They're not the Raiders,
Yeah.
right? They're not
Right.
the Bills.
Right.
You know?
CJ Spiller.
And another thing, Marshawn Lynch got the ball on the 1 yard line 5 times this year.
That stats irrelevant.
1 touchdown.
It's irrelevant. It's the Super Bowl. It
I
doesn't matter.
agree. I
All
have
things
to-
go out.
Sax, I like your point. I appreciate your point because that definitely went into the thinking. Guaranteed it went into the thinking over on the sideline.
Probable. Yes.
But I also think it's irrelevant
It's irrelevant.
because, like we talked about with John, Coach Killingbeck last week, one game, man. That's all this is. Somebody rolls their ankle the wrong way and can't play. Somebody
Right.
tears their labrum. Like stupid stuff that could impact one game, and that's all this is. So I don't care about what happened over the course of the season. That's why if you make it to the Super Bowl and your backup quarterback is leading you the length of the way, and then Tom Brady comes back from an injury in the Super Bowl, you play Tom Brady. I don't care what your backup quarterback did over the course of the season. You play Tom Brady.
Yeah.
You know?
Brady. It's that one game.
So for me, the regular season stats, the playoff stat, I don't care. This is one game. You get in the end zone any way you can.
And it's the shiniest marble too.
Yeah. Now, Ben, there's weird people out there, and that's a statement in and of itself. But there's weirder people out there who think that Carroll wouldn't let Lynch run in the ball because he wanted his boy Russell Wilson to be the star.
That doesn't matter. Who cares if Russell? Granted, Russell, if this was his first Super Bowl or not, somebody had to make a throw. Whether they brought Tavares Jackson in, that throw was going to be made if they were going to call it. So that didn't matter. And since it didn't matter, it was just the way of the ball was thrown.
Yeah.
So that
I
was
agree.
that was the biggest issue.
I also I don't mind the call. Throw it to the sideline. There's no problem. The second thing was that was a bad throw.
It was not praised properly.
It was not placed properly. It was too
No.
far out in front. You're an NFL quarterback. You place the throw correctly.
Yes.
You want to pitch in major leagues, and you
throw
can't put the
here.
ball where you want it? That's not going to work out.
You're not pitching in the major leagues.
Yeah.
And Major Leagues, 60 feet in between, 60 feet 6 inches from the mound to home plate.
Mm-hmm.
The pass was,
1 yard.
wh-
1 yard away.
you
And
know,
what, he dropped back 3 or 4?
right.
Okay.
So
So
4, yeah.
15 feet,
Right.
20 feet. So it was a rocket, just an absolute rocket
Yes.
of a throw. And it was too far out in front. Sorry, I'm
Sorry,
playing
you're good.
footsies with you. It was too far out in front. That allowed Butler to pick it off. But let's not forget how incredible that catch was
Yes.
by Butler. That, in my eyes, is just as incredible as Tyree Manninghammer curse. He came out of nowhere.
He saw the cookies from a mile away, and he was hungry,
Are they clapping?
and he took the cookies.
He came out of nowhere. You're right. He smelled the cookie jar, and he tore into it.
Yes.
Well, that all goes into the preparation Bill Belichick gives to these players, to his players. I was reading an article about it, that Bill Belichick, throughout the week leading up to a game, any game this is, will quiz each player on who they're going to be matched up with and their tendencies. And, like, in the meetings, he'll say, okay, this player, so this is in front of the entire team. He says, okay, this player, what does he do on second down, short yardage situations? And the guy has to know. If he doesn't, Belichick will say, okay, meet me in my office tomorrow. And
Jeez.
that's something you do not want to go to.
Yep.
That's the scariest thing I've ever heard.
So the players have to know what their opponents are going to do. And so that all goes into the preparation. I mean, Butler said it after the game. I knew that play from watching film.
Right.
So I knew they were right where the ball was gonna go, and I just got there first.
Right.
Wow.
I mean, coaches don't win football games. Players win football games.
Mhm.
Players make the passes. Players make the catches. Players make the runs, the tackles, the kicks, whatever the heck we're talking about. Players win the football games. Coaches get players to the point where they can win football games, and that's where a good coach becomes a great coach. Pete Carroll is a great coach. He got them to that point. They were there to win the football game. They were poised to win the football game. They did not make the play to win the football game. It's that simple.
I like that story because even though Tom Brady's supposed to know what's happened, and Malcolm Butler, who on the team knew Malcolm Butler?
Right.
Like, to be honest, this is just me. When Julian Edelman and Butler were on that plane, that was probably the first time they ever spoke to each other.
Oh, yeah. Probably. Well, how many people, was it, like 80 guys are on a football team?
56?
Something crazy?
53.
It's like 174 guys on the football team?
That was the first time they probably ever talked.
Like
And
372?
Belichick had command of the players to know your stuff. And that, even given the circumstance, undrafted rookie, worked at Popeyes before. He did his job at the end
Haven't
of the day.
we all worked at Popeyes?
I want
We've
some
all
Popeyes.
been in a Popeyes kind of work.
Yeah.
Where'd you work?
I work at a day camp.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
How about you, Sax? What's your Popeyes?
My Popeyes is a summer league high school basketball tournament doing the official scorebook.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
okay. You're in your realm.
That's rough. You love official scorebooks,
Yeah.
though, I gotta say.
Yeah. Well, what about you? Let's hear it, Kenny.
McDonald's, baby.
Oh.
McDonald's for 5 years.
Back home?
Yep. From my sophomore year in high school to about my freshman, so for 4 years, I guess, for freshman year in college.
Now I know people that worked at McDonald's. It's
Yeah, it's a life experience.
a job.
Yeah, pays the
job.
bills,
It's a
kind of.
job.
But what bills do you have to pay as a sophomore in high school?
Sax, I've got bills, okay? I got a family to feed, Sax. I got kids that need their food.
He had bills in the playoffs.
I did have bills. Okay. It wasn't a bad pick. It's not a bad pick. Next year they win the AFC East. Okay? Right now, you're going to save this segment and you're going to say Bills win the AFC East. That's what you're going to say because they will.
You do realize that they have to contend with the defending now.
You don't even
Defending.
like them. You don't even want them to win.
That was unpatriotic what you did, to be honest.
You don't even. You're rooting against them
As
right
a
now.
Patriots fan, you were unpatriotic.
Yeah, we're going to tear into you a little bit here,
Wow.
Sax.
We are all patriots.
Oh, enough.
And he says P-A-T-S, Pats.
No, he doesn't. He says Seahawks. I don't know what they say. Go Hawks, go.
Go Hawks. That's the
Go Hawks. Stupid.
Okay.
What a stupid name also.
Okay.
Are they basically seagulls? Is that what they are, but they don't want to be called the seagulls because that's stupid?
Isn't it
I-
even the state bird? Is
I-
the Seahawk even the state bird of
What
Washington?
is a Seahawk? That can't be a real thing.
I don't know. I think
I
it's
got
like an
signal. Can you
look that up?
osprey.
If I got a signal, yeah.
Oh.
Because,
An osprey.
yeah, because
I heard a story about ospreys
oh
once.
boy, here we go.
This is a true story.
Okay.
Have you ever listened to the podcast This American Life?
No.
Nah.
All right. Well, you should, guys. You guys should listen to more podcasts. Who listens to podcasts in here?
Nope.
Me. Okay. You should. It's you travel. You do a little travel. You do a little commute.
Okay.
Yeah. You throw on a little podcast instead of your music. You know your music. You don't need to listen to it
Yeah.
anymore. You know it. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry about
I
it.
memorized the lyrics.
So throw on some podcasts. The phone gave you an app called Podcasts. You put it on.
Okay.
I suggest this. Oh gosh, what's it called? The Talk of Shame is my favorite one. It's a podcast about like just people telling their most embarrassing stories
Okay.
about how awful their lives are, and that makes me feel better about my life because my life is pretty awful too. So when two awful life people come together and share their awfulness, it makes everybody happier. So that one's my favorite. But anyway, I was listening to This American Life, and they were talking about ospreys once and how there was and if I'm getting the story wrong, and if you're from This American Life and listening to our show, then I apologize. But there was a story about ospreys and how there was a camera on one of their nests in like not like a shelter, but kind of like just right around a bird feeder. And it was in like what are those things? Like a conservatism?
Conservatory.
Conservatory. Conservatism is, I believe, a political way of thinking. But so it's in a conservatory, and it's like by a bird bath, and it's this osprey nest, and the mother has, like, they haven't been there in like years, and the woman who set up the camera just died, and it's like really sad. And the guy who's watching over the camera is like really upset because his friend just died, and then all of a sudden this osprey comes out of nowhere, and they haven't been there for like 30 years, and they lay eggs, and it's this whole miraculous story, and then the babies are birthed, and then the mother kills them.
Oh.
Just eats them alive and like just like pecks at them and
After
stuff.
30 years.
Yeah, and just like it just is like eating these children, and the dad is clueless. It's like it's like Scandal for birds, or Grey's Anatomy. It's like this whole chaotic thing where everybody's watching these birds get eaten alive, and the dad comes back to the nest and has no idea that the mother is killing his children, and she doesn't care, and everybody's like emailing this guy who's looking over this nest and is like, "Can you help these baby ospreys?" And he's like, "No, I mean, like,
No.
we're human. They eat their baby, sorry, like, this is how nature works." And like some people were like starting petitions to like get these ospreys out of the nests, or
Ospreys.
and so that is my knowledge of ospreys, is that sometimes they eat their children,
Oh, the state bird of Washington is the American goldfinch.
which is not a seahawk.
It's not very intimidating. It looks like the Bruin. It looks like the Penguin.
Really?
From the Pittsburgh Penguin. Kinda.
Oh, wow, it really
Yeah.
does, actually.
Yeah.
Put a little hockey stick in his hand, and it could be the Penguins logo.
Yep.
Anyway,
Who
so
won the Super Bowl?
The Patriots.
Oh, you watched it?
I did.
I missed it. I missed the Super Bowl.
I was one of the 144 million people to watch it. The most viewed Super Bowl.
They all are. Every year
Every
is-
year it goes up.
It's,
Every year it goes
is.
up.
Yeah.
It's an annual tradition.
What food did you have?
Stupid.
I had pizza.
Oh, you had
That's
pizza.
not even fun.
Italian.
Did you have freedom fries? Patriotic.
Hey, we are all patriots.
Yeah, sure thing.
Robert Kraft. We are all patriots.
That is the oldest conservative white gentleman that I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, and then after the Super Bowl, he has a photo of Rick Ross.
Yeah, how cool is that?
I was
Guy's
watching.
balling.
So I was watching the post game coverage on NFL Network, and they had an interview with Robert Kraft that they had him on their set at the Super Bowl, and they were asking him like, "Oh, what's gonna be at the post game party?" And he was like, "Oh, we're gonna have some entertainers, including Ricky Ross." And I cracked up. I was like, "That's the funniest
That's
thing."
great.
Hearing Robert Kraft call Rick Ross Ricky Ross.
Ricky Ross. Now,
Ricky
did you approve of the duck boat celebration in Boston?
I did, because I know that the Red Sox did that a few years ago when they won one of their World Series. So it's kind of like a Boston specialty.
Okay.
What about you?
It's a parade.
How'd you feel about the mocking that went on? The
LeGarrette
Sherman sign and the LeGarrette Blunt T-shirt.
I didn't appreciate the LeGarrette Blunt T-shirt. They're both running backs, so They understand what they went through,
Right.
and then Blunt goes, I respect the guy and all, but you don't do that to a guy like that.
No, I'm not a fan of Sherman,
Oh, I am so over it.
and I really do not like Marshawn Lynch at all.
Oh,
But
Sounds like you have a deeper kind of hatred there.
yeah, I don't know.
We gotta let that out, Sax. Can't keep that in. Not good for you.
for some reason I like Russell Wilson and I like Pete Carroll, but just
Love Pete Carroll.
yeah. Oh, I would.
Pete
I
Carroll's
was-
one of my
Pete
favorite
Carroll?
people in the world.
when he was at USC,
love
I
his
was
teeth.
a huge
So nasty.
USC fan.
Yeah.
jeez, every time.
Yeah, but
You ain't cheating, you ain't trying, baby.
but the mocking to get back to
Yeah.
it's uncalled for. You won the game, and be happy with that. And just call it a day at that, and settle it on the field. You did settle it on the field by winning, so
Right.
let your playing do the talking, and that's it. Just like how I hated when the Seahawks scored their last touchdown, and it was a pass from Russell Wilson to Doug Baldwin, who was covered by
Darrell Reeves.
Darrell
Darrell
Revis.
Revis.
And the camera immediately goes to Richard Sherman, pointing out who was on the defense on that play.
Yeah, it's
Called him out.
he's just not a fun gentleman.
No, and you know that's uncalled for. And then yeah, you go up by 10, but there's still a quarter and a half to play, and you know then the Patriots score 14. So I mean, you know, I don't hear Richard Sherman talking now.
Right, exactly.
He
yeah.
talked about 2-5.
And now he's got a baby.
Yeah, on
Right?
2-5.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he did because his number.
Ah.
Yeah, 2-5.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. And I love the pictures. I heard about some fans showing pictures of Sherman, and one of them had him showing up to 2-4 and saying, yeah, that's how many points they scored, which was not enough because the Patriots scored 28. And then another one was showing him holding up the 4 fingers, and the caption on it read, that's how many Super Bowl rings Tom Brady has, which I thought that was pretty
Yep.
nice. Brady's got 4, and Sherman has 1.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
you know, for what that's worth.
Now, do you think the Patriots just, you know, how the Seahawks got into the Super Bowl again?
Right.
Are you predicting, or not predicting, is there a good chance the Patriots will be in the Super Bowl again around this time?
No, he's not even rooting for him.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let me.
Well,
I'm neutral, you know.
yeah. Take all
My,
your
my favorite
emotion out
team
of
is
it,
in the Super Bowl.
Sax.
My favorite team. I've been with them all year through the playoffs, but when it comes
Imagine.
down to the Super Bowl,
Could you imagine just taking yourself out of it like that, and then actually saying the words "Seahawks are gonna win"?
yeah, that's like saying when the Knicks
On tape, he's got it's been recorded. It's out there. It's in the place. The place is the internet, and the place is large.
the World Wide
the,
Web.
the www.
Dot.
Web.
Well, I need some defense here.
there is none.
Jersey Joe.
No, you
No.
picked against your favorite. Jersey Joe changed his pick and then posted on Facebook that
Yeah, no,
he
no.
didn't change his pick, and then I called him out, and I think he deleted my comment.
Oh,
Yeah, no,
somebody
yeah,
edited it.
No, that was uncalled for. But
Wow.
Joe.
Joe, get in here.
Joe, yeah.
Let me get it, Joe.
Joe,
Hey,
defend yourself.
Joe,
Yeah.
Joe.
Yeah, get in your booth, brother.
yeah,
This is your booth.
yeah, Joe. Okay, all right. So we're razzing on you.
You're gonna
right
need
now.
the microphone, Joe.
Okay, so one apparently you switched your pick.
Yeah.
You had the Patriots winning at the beginning of the
August
season.
27th.
And then he changed it
And then
to
you
the
changed it
Seahawks
to the
the
Seahawks.
Friday before the Super Bowl.
It's true.
And then posted on Facebook after the Super
Oh, of
Bowl
course.
that he picked the Patriots.
Oh, and I did because you see, on August 27th, I was correct.
Well,
but-
you don't get to change.
Oh, sure you do, because
What?
you get credit. The Jersey Joe book gives you credit because when you pick something that early in advance, there's some type of psychic powers working there. Now, I'm not going to go on the air and say I'm a psychic. I am.
Well, you just
but-
said it.
Oh, but I
Twice.
But there's some mystical powers working here, guys.
Joe!
I don't want to brag.
Joe,
but,
no
I'm a
psychic,
little
no
Oh, I'm a
psychic goes, you're
I'm
going to
definitely
die on
psychic.
Thursday, and then you come back on
Next
Wednesday, and he goes, you know what,
Thursday,
no,
next
Friday,
Thursday.
and then the guy
Plus-
dies on Thursday, and you go, oh, I was right. I got it.
Plus, I'm working with the Deflategate thing. That kind of screwed it up.
All right.
I wanted my pick to be right, but the Deflategate thing, I can't root for that. I couldn't root for them, Ian.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
really
Ian
good.
apparently. Okay, now listen
Yeah,
to this,
okay,
Joe.
yeah.
Now, I've got my own feelings towards you at the moment. But
Psychic,
now,
remember that.
yes, the psychic
I am
feeling.
the
I
psychic.
know you know how I feel. Now, for Sachs, though, this guy over here chose the not team that's his favorite.
No, but you know what? Ian and I did a stand-up at the West Jersey County Center. I give him so much credit for that because you can't be in
That's
this business if
overcompensating.
you're just going to be a homer for your team.
Well, you
if you think the Seahawks
recuse
are gonna
yourself
win,
from the question.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
You can't, if you're in this business, you got to pick against your team. You got to pick them when you think they'll win. You got to be an honesty broker. And Ian Sachs is an honesty
An
broker.
honesty broker, Mr. Psychic.
I've known it my whole life too.
Oh,
I just know it.
Goodness, this is ridiculous. I'm in a studio with a bunch of crazies.
And I knew
One
you
who
were going-
doesn't like his own team, and another one who is, what am I going to have for dinner tonight?
What are you gonna have for dinner?
Yeah.
Well, I could tell you, Ken.
But you probably get it right and then change it, and then I would eat the first thing, and then you'd go, I was right.
You know, that's exactly what I knew you were going to say, and that's why the polar magnitudes of the South Pole are telling me. Wait a second. No, electromagnetic interference. You know, I'm cloudy
You
right
can't
now.
get it. We're in the basement.
We're in the basement. You know, it's a
No
gift.
cell service,
It's a
no
gift and a
Archino
curse.
service.
It's a gift and a curse. It is
All right.
sometimes.
All right, get out of here.
Well,
Okay.
the
Animal.
reason that
You're an
I
animal.
brought Jersey Joe in here was to defend me.
Yeah, and he gave a stupid excuse.
Because okay,
Because you know why? Let me. We've got 2 minutes, and then we gotta go. We gotta go. Here's the thing, Sack Daddy, Mr. Sacks, Mr. Deflated Balls. You cannot choose against your own team. We are in WICR. Okay, we are not on NBC News.
No.
We are not on the ESPN. We're not on the NBC. You know, we are in this studio where we let emotion carry us. Okay, this is an emotional studio full of emotional people saying emotional things with other emotional thinkers. Right? Just a lot. We're in a glass case of emotion, if I could.
Yes, a fish tank.
Okay? You recuse yourself from the question because you cannot remove yourself from assuming that your team is going to win. But you, because you're some sort of robot from Blade Runner, are able to remove your own feelings from the Patriots, a team that you live and die for, and say out loud, that you think they're going to lose. And then you go home and you watch them win and be happy about it? How can you do such a thing?
Yeah, because during that whole spiel with Joe, he was like this with the camera. Go
Yeah,
Patriots!
yeah,
Go
go
Patriots! Champions! Champions! You can't do that. It's unacceptable.
have your
Case
team.
closed, man.
Unpatriotic.
Okay, all right. I'll end it with this. When your team goes to the Super Bowl twice and loses to an inferior team on spectacular plays.
Hey, we just went over this. If we're going by inferiority,
Hold on. Let me finish. And then they match up with a better team, or a team that is more on an even level than they are. Both teams going 12-4 this year, whereas the Patriots, first time with the Giants, finished 6 games better than them in the regular season. The second time, 4 games better. When you're in an even, so the Patriots should have won both of those games pretty handily, but they lost. Now they're in an even battle. After losing those 2 upsets, what rationally can I say to myself or even emotionally. I've been dejected so many times, it's bound to happen again.
Dude,
Third time's a charm.
have you ever watched Lord of the Rings?
I have not.
What?
No.
What? Wait, what? Wait a minute.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
What? Boing?
Wow. That was
How?
boingy.
How could you have not watched Lord of the Rings?
It's been out since 01.
Dude.
Patriots won in 03. You had a 2-year window.
Dude. Yeah. You've had a 14-year window.
I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan.
Wow. Anyway, what I was going to say is, Sax, the good guys always win.
And third time's a charm. You
And
can go
let's-
with that. Third
The
time is
good
a charm.
guys always win,
If
Sax.
the
And the
good-
good guys were the Giants in both of those Super Bowls, and you know it.
No,
and
they
you know
weren't.
the good guys.
They had Strahan. How was
They
he
had
not a
the
good?
Strahan.
How is he not a good guy?
Humanura, Big Head Eli. It was like a combination of the most lovable people ever.
Eli, here's my problem with Eli Manning, but Eli is not as bad as Joe Flacco. They come out and say that they are an elite quarterback when, okay, Eli said that heading into the 2011 season, so he already had one Super Bowl ring. Fine. But he comes out and says that he's an elite quarterback with one good postseason to show for it. Joe Flacco does this and comes out, has no Super Bowl rings, comes out and says he's an elite quarterback.
Now he does.
That
Yeah.
he doesn't now. After they beat the Steelers, his coach John Harbaugh was like, "I'll take Joe Flacco over any quarterback ever."
Well, what's he supposed to say? Oh, he's good, but I'd rather that guy. No, come on. What do you expect him to say? Anyway, back to my point. The good guys always win, Sacks. And in this Super Bowl, you were the good guys. Because I don't know why people enjoy the Seahawks. They're obnoxious and annoying. Okay? You were the good guys this Super Bowl. You won. Be happy about it. Don't pick against your own team ever again.
Enjoy yourself.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Fine. We have to end it.
We have to go.
Yeah,
We have to go. So, thank you everyone for listening. It's been a colorful show today.
We'll see you
talking
next
about-
Friday.
We will see
Right?
you
We're
next
back
Friday.
on?
We
No
are,
women's?
No.
Oh, how was the game yesterday? How'd
It-
you do?
We'll talk about it next week.
Okay.
Because we are past our time.
Yeah, we gotta
here.
go.
So,
Mowdy.
we will see you next week.
Peace out, boys and girls.
Ben, thank you for coming on. There is always an invitation for you.
Always.
New York Knicks
That was
basketball.
an extra mic, baby.
Thank you. New York Knicks basketball up.
WICR, Iona College Radio.